What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning back in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. I'm your host, Easy Win. And this is part two. My boy Majesty, Jay, whatever you want to call him in the proper name. My boy Majesty. This is part two. I appreciate all the love on part one. I appreciate all my subscribers, man. We almost at 4K. I thank y'all. So listen, we're gonna get right into this one. This one right here, the part one, we left off at 5 points. So we're gonna start right there where we continued from. So what happened at 5 points? Did you leave 5 points? You got transferred on the draft? Something happened, made you leave? What happened?
Yeah, when I got to 5 points, I was there, like all of the facilities I was in each facility about 2 years, give or take, right? With the exception of Greenhaven, which was later on down the line. But while I was at 5 points, one of my homeboys from the streets, he had got into an argument with a CO in the school building. So 5 points is my first spot. So I'm not really understanding the politics. I still had kind of a Rikers Island mentality still in terms of how you deal with the police.
Okay.
So homeboy that I knew, he got into some words with the police. So I intervened in that and pressed the police, like aggressively, because this is a dude I really know. Like I know his family and everything.
But keep going.
So,
they say that, bro. Go ahead, keep going though.
Say that again?
People say in New York State, talking back to the police, people die from that. So I want to know what happened with your situation.
Yeah. Thank God for me, bro. Because most of my disciplinary tickets were dealing with the police, as far as like rebelling against the police. But thank God for me, you know. But so I wasn't really hip to that, and so I pressed the police like aggressively. So I'm thinking the police was gonna be a man about it, but nah. He pulled the pin, yeah. Pulled the pin. Yeah, he pulled the pin. Because I pressed the police like he was a dude on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So, but he pulled the pin. So when he pulled the pin, they come. So fortunately, when they did come, they didn't wash me up and nothing like that. They just threw me up against the wall. You know, they start taking whatever's in your pockets, you know, throwing it down and shit, stuff like that. But they didn't wash me up and nothing like that. I wound up getting long-term keep lock, because you have different levels of disciplinary charges. So you have like a tier 3 ticket, a tier 2 ticket, a tier 1 ticket. Tier 1 is the lowest. But when it comes to what they consider to be higher levels of violation, you'll get a tier 3. Like for fights, oftentimes you'll get a tier 2. So what they'll do with a tier 2 oftentimes is just put you on keep lock. So that was a tier 3 ticket. And behind that, I wound up losing some of my good time initially, because in New York State prison, you got to do 85% of your time if you have a flat bid.
Oh, okay.
So I wound up losing some of my good time behind that incident. So I wound up in long-term keep lock. So while I was in long-term keep lock, remember 5 points is a double bunk facility.
Okay.
But that kind of sucks because you got a rec pen in there too, because like I said, it's built like the box. It was built to be a box prison.
Okay.
So in the cell, you have a rec pen. It's like a little door, the door inside your cell where you could just go out, and there's cages or whatever, and you can see other dudes in the rec pen or whatever. So that's like the only way, for the most part, like your bunkie is going to get some privacy and things like that, because you long-term keep lock. So while I was long-term keep lock, I got drafted out of the jail. So they sent me to Auburn, and Auburn is a disciplinary jail.
Okay.
It's in Auburn, New York. So I wound up in Auburn Correctional Facility. That was the next spot that I landed in.
And Bro, like I said, my brother has been at Auburn twice. That's where a lot, he got stabbed in Auburn in 2005. That's where a lot of stuff happens at, man.
Yeah.
Think about Auburn. Went to Auburn, though. Did you know the reputation had?
Say this again?
Before you went to Auburn, did you know the reputation it had already?
Yeah, because, you know, people talk. But at the same time, you got to, like, remember I mentioned in part 1, you start to realize in prison that mind is master. Same thing when you're dealing with the prison administration, bro. They have all of this figured out. They have like how to control people, you know? So the same thing with convicts. The convicts who survive and things like that, it's a mental game. So you can't take everything off face value that people tell you.
Gotcha.
Just like when you hear about booty bandits and shit like that, you may hear about this type of thing and it's like, oh, you thinking booty bandits is dudes that's gonna run down on dudes and try to rape them, but it's not really like that.
Okay.
So you got to see for yourself. So I did hear about the reputation of Auburn. Even 5 Points was wild when I was there.
Okay.
Like the Brims was at war. That's a banner of the Bloods.
Okay.
The Brims. But like when I was at 5 Points, they were warring with each other. They were going through a war. So
you said, back up. You said the Brims they went to war at 5 Points.
Yeah, and they was warring in other jails, but they had internal politics.
Okay.
And I had a couple bunkies that were Brims. I didn't just have one bunkie in 5 Points.
Okay.
I had a couple of Brim bunkies. We were cool. So that's how you keep your ear to the streets, so to speak, on the prison level to know the politics. But yeah, when I was in 5 Points, the Brims was going to war with each other.
Damn. Okay.
So yeah, so at 5 Points wasn't sweet. It wasn't sweet either.
Okay, so you leave 5 Points, you go to Auburn. What's happening at Auburn? Which organization has the numbers? What kind of things are happening at Auburn?
All right, so when you go to Auburn, Auburn, like I said, is a disciplinary jail. So a lot of what you would consider dudes that are problems to the Department of Corrections, they'll land in that spot.
Okay.
You're gonna see a lot of legends there, as well as certain other jails too, but in Auburn for sure. So when I got to Auburn, it was similar in terms of the organizational politics. Now, there's certain gangs. All right, here's the thing. When you in the New York State Department of Corrections, it's very racially segregated. Not in a way like how California might be, but in the sense that when you go to the yard, right? Every organization has a table. I like to say a court, you know what I'm saying? But there's tables in the yard, there's phones, so everybody has their own spot. So you got the gangs on one hand, and then you got the neutrals. You got the neutrals that are just bidding, and then you got certain neutrals that band together based on their hometown association. Okay. So with Brooklyn, like, you know, we got 5 boroughs in New York City. Right. Brooklyn pretty much always has a court. Like, you're gonna always see Brooklyn dudes strong. Like, they stick together, and you got to be careful about that. Like, I'm a Brooklyn dude. So some dudes would be like, yeah, come on, come chill with us. You got weight shacks or whatever. So the point is, everybody wants to have a territory in the jail. They want to mark their territory off. So Brooklyn dudes are like that. They stick together.
Okay.
As if it was a gang. You know what I'm saying? They stick together. You're not going to see like a Manhattan court. I've never seen that, bro. I've never seen a Bronx court. Always a Brooklyn court.
Okay.
Then same thing with the Muslims. You know what I'm saying? The Muslims got their court. They got their thing. And then you got the upstate dudes. But they call themselves USG. To us from New York City, it always sounded kind of funny. It stands for upstate gangsters. It's not a gang. It's just dudes from like Buffalo, Rochester, Newburgh, these New York places outside of the 5 boroughs, and they stick together.
Okay.
So, but you got other gangs certain people don't know about. Like
how about the whites? They got a supremacy gang, a white supremacy gang. They got their own court.
I'm gonna tell you this though, the white boys, pardon me even saying that, but the Caucasian brothers, they always have their own thing going on. But you're not gonna see like, oh, there's a court with Aryan Nation dudes. But I did run into some Aryan Nation cats.
Okay.
Trust that they exist there. The way that you'll know, like in Auburn, they have what's called the bathhouse. All jails don't have a bathhouse.
Okay.
Like in your typical jail, you got showers on your company. You know, where you lock in, they let you out your cell. You got a certain amount of time to take a shower or whatever. But in Auburn, they also have a bathhouse in the yard. So while you're in the yard, you can go up there, take a shower, whatever the case may be. So if you're in a bathhouse, you're gonna be showering around other dudes.
Okay.
So you see who has what tattoos and all of that.
Okay.
So since I'm always hip to the gang politics, I like to know what's going on in an environment. I'll see certain white cats. I'll see the swastikas on them, the number 88, lightning bolts. I already know they Aryan Nation. So trust me when I tell you there's Aryan Nation dudes. I'm not saying they're certainly not a factor as the way they are in California, but they did. And it's not like they're gonna step to you on a racial level. When I say that it's racially segregated, is that it's clear when you're in prison in New York. Like for example, the West Indians, that's Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Guyanese people, they stick together.
Mm.
But there's certain gangs too that your ordinary citizen wouldn't really know about, that exists in the Department of Corrections in New York. So like the Bloods, they're more boisterous about their affiliation. You'll know. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not hip to it, even being in jail, you might not know what a dude's affiliation is because certain gangs move different. Okay. So with the West Indians, they have a gang that's called the Lions. AKA the Black Lions. Okay. So that's a predominantly Jamaican. They got other West Indians in that gang. But they don't move like the Bloods. For me, the Lions is cool, mad cool. But they about their business. So like when I was in Auburn, one of the cats who had started the Lions, which was Scully. He's like a legend because he was there when the whole blood thing started way back when on Rikers Island in New York. Okay. But he was one of the pioneers of the Black Lions. So the Black Lions is about their business, but they not on that type of time going around starting shit. They just bring it to you if you try to bring it to them. But to me, the Lions I know, it's good brothers. I like them a lot. So you'll have the Lions, that's like the dominant force, but they're gonna embrace other West Indians. Okay. So if you pull up in a spot and you West Indian, they're gonna look out for you. They let you on the court, you know? Right. Them. Of course, you know, you got the Three Wolves. You got
Are the Three Wolves deep? Kings. Are they deep in Auburn?
The Three Wolves?
Yes.
Like when I was in Auburn, I don't want to say that they weren't a factor because they exist, but most of the shootings, meaning cuttings and whatnot that was going on when I was there, was with the Bloods. Like one thing when you're in these spots and there's a lot of Bloods, bro, there's shootings happening every day. Literally.
I'm saying, what's up with them? Like, so they basically, it seems like it's always the Bloods. They running everything.
Yeah, but don't get it twisted. Like how I just mentioned the Lions. The Bloods ain't gonna run up on the Lions and punk them. Hell no. It's just the Lions move a different way. You got rat hunters too.
Okay.
So like when when I started meeting, so when I started,
my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I started meeting certain rat hunters, I knew about them, but when I started getting to know some of them, they move totally different. They don't go out there like, yeah, I'm a rat hunter. You know what I'm saying? But you know who they are. And it's not gonna go like that. You're just not gonna be like, oh yeah, let me run up on the rat hunters. Nah, they're gonna put work in too. So, but the thing is this, that the bloods are so deep. So there came a point where when they established themselves, they just started fighting amongst each other a lot. It's politics.
Okay.
So damn near every day, literally, bro, you having a shooting in the yard. So that's how the bloods would do it. Like, yo, he's food. Cut him.
Damn.
But you just there. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's like a war zone, but it's not a war zone in the sense that, you know, like you're non-affiliated. You got to be like, oh shit, it's just going on around you. Okay. So you got to be on point, of course, but it's crazy. So Auburn's a disciplinary jail, but Auburn also, paradoxically, that's a jail that has trailers in it, which is conjugal visits.
Okay.
Right? So that's a good part about Auburn. You have conjugal visits.
Okay.
You know, every couple of months or whatever, you could go on a trailer visit with your wife, your kids or whatever. Also it's an industry jail. By industry, I mean the government of New York has basically these industries. Like in Auburn, they make all the license plates in New York City for your cars. All of that is made there. Okay. So they got the license plate shop, which I was in the industry. It's dope. And that if you work in an industry, you're making like $50 at least every 2 weeks in that facility. So if you're working in the industry, you're good. You don't really got to reach out to your family for money too much. You're able to go to commissary and whatnot. So they make the license plates there. Then they got a wood shop, where they make chairs and stuff for the mayor's office and all of that. It's basically slave labor. That's what it is.
Okay. And listen, you said that Auburn was a disciplinary jail. So still anybody get sent there just on a draft regular without disciplinary, just go there and get sent there? Or is every single state there for discipline?
I think I'm not sure, bro. But most of the cats that I knew was there for disciplinary reasons.
Okay, and check this out. I grew up with, man, that was Crip. He go hard. He grew up in my project. He goes hard. He's known and everything. My question is, people keep saying Crips don't live in the New York Department of Corrections. Is that true when you were there?
All right, Auburn, that's a good question. When I was in Auburn, I knew a big Crip, like a well-known Crip. You know what I'm saying? When the Crips in the jail, if they representing, they wear purple. Because remember how I told you on Rikers Island you can't wear red?
Right.
When I was going through there, well, in the Department of Corrections, you cannot wear blue. You can't wear black either. So, but you could wear red. You can't wear blue. So instead, if a Crip is representing, he'll wear purple.
Okay, I'm definitely right.
That's a Crip letting you know, like, I'm Crip. If he does. Like, I used to wear purple too, you know what I'm saying? But I used to be on point a little bit for that, because if dudes see you wearing purple too much, if they're hip to the politics, they're going to presume you Crip. Okay. So I definitely knew one big Crip there that was representing, but he was a gangster, straight up. So there's exceptions. To be honest with you, there are exceptions. You may see, a Crip here and there, but other than that, even sometimes the Crip could be living there, and then it may happen that a certain Damu will pull up and he wants to start shit. You got certain dudes that got nothing to live for, bro. They just on a kamikaze mission. You're gonna have that. So a dude might come in and he's a part of your gang and he's like, yo, I'm not feeling how y'all moving. Like how you got Crips living over here. I've seen that happen. So, one or two Crips maybe living, wearing that purple. And then a certain blood to pull up, and it's like, hell no. Just like when I was on Rikers Island, you know what I'm saying? You would have that too. But then you had those certain, like I said, gang members that come in like they not living here. So that could work one of two ways. Okay. The gang could wash. The gang could move on they fellow member that's trying to change things, or they could go with it.
Okay.
You know, okay. but here and there you'll see a Crip here and there. But definitely for the most part, bro, nah. That it's like this shit is crazy. That, like, in other words, your bid would be hard. You know what I'm saying? The same thing when you in certain gangs, because different jails got different politics. You know, so like when you asked me about the 3 boo thing, like even when I was on the island, at that time, when I was on Rikers Island before going up north,
right?
They exist. I already knew about them before I went to jail, but at that time they were starting to make their presence known, because you got to put in work to plant your flag.
That's right.
So before I went up north, I seen the Bloods and the 3 boos getting it on, you know. But the Bloods had the numbers, you know what I'm saying, and the 3 boos was just doing, like, they was on their campaigning at that time.
Okay.
Making their presence felt. Only when I was about to go home, at the end of my bid, it was crazy because you go to this spot called Queensboro. That's like right before you wind up going home. And when I was on the bus, like going to Queensboro, I was hearing dudes, because you stop in different facilities on your way.
Okay.
So I was hearing like, oh shit, the 3 boos they got some big war shit going on. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't around for that or whatever. But I was hearing it as I was going to Queensboro.
Right.
But in Auburn, like I said, you have those different things, bro, different organizations.
Okay. And speaking
you're
of,
gonna run into a lot of dudes in that spot.
Yeah. I bet in part 1, you said you dropped your flag.
Yeah.
What process did you go to do that? Did you talk to somebody, hey man, listen, let's have a meeting, I'm dropping my flag, or did you just drop your flag?
Yeah, nah, I just dropped my flag. At that time, I was getting money, you know? So my thing was like, once you in the gang, you gotta, if you getting some type of money, even if you're not in the gang, bro, it's like on your rise to success as a ordinary, you know, just a man, as an individual, you're gonna have those cats you grew up with that's gonna start becoming jealous of you. That's how it is. Things change, bro. They're gonna see you pulling up in your Benz, your Beamer, whatever you're doing, and they don't like it.
Right.
When you blow up, you know what I'm saying? So they're gonna try to have their hands in your pockets. So same thing with the gangs. So a lot of cats is gonna look at that as extortion. Like, nah, fuck that. Why am I paying these dudes? And that happens. It happens with rappers that are blood affiliated. You know, it happens all the time.
Right.
Like the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing, you see what happened? It's like, yeah, you the bag for us. You know what I'm saying? So that's what got me to get out of the gang thing. I'm like, hold on, I'm dealing with dudes, even though I was young, I'm dealing with dudes that are racketeering. So they already put me on. Like they won't dish you like organized criminals I'm talking about. But they're gonna ask you the question, like, what do you get out of being blood? Like, what do you get out of that? What's the purpose? They're not trying to play you. They just see potential in you. They like, yo, there's money to make out here. There's things to do. And if you move that way, meaning like wearing your colors and all of that type of stuff, they like, it don't mix. And they don't want no parts of that because it's basically like telling on yourself.
Got you.
Everybody knows who you are, but you don't know. You like a moving target. So that's what got me out of that. So you holler at your homies and you let them know, like, listen, anybody could get out of a gang in New York.
Okay.
The only way you're gonna have a problem, my brother, is just like with hustling. If you too knee deep in it and dudes feel you might snitch or you got information, you're gonna have problems. That's the exception. But other than that, that's it. You just leave and you do your thing.
Okay. And so that never became a problem while you was upstate. Nobody ever say, man, you dropped your flag, man. No, nobody ever put you and said that at all?
Nah, it's crazy because it's a small world, bro. That's another thing I want to say. One thing I realized in prison is that what we would call being institutionalized, or being trapped in the system, that shit starts from a young age a lot of times. So there was so many brothers that when you get to know them, they was in foster care, bro, in the projects, to group homes, from group homes to DFY, to adolescence, and you like, damn, bro, you've been doing your whole fucking life in jail, virtually. Right. It's a lot of dudes like that, so it's a revolving door. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to say you start running into a lot of cats from your childhood. It's a small world. So like even when I was on the island, naturally, because I grew up being blood affiliated, it's you have to be disciplined in jail to know you're gonna do your bid correctly, because cats that you know from your past, they mean well, bro, but they'll try to pull you back in. You feel me?
Yes, yeah.
So when I'm around the Don moves, we click, even in jail. Okay. You just click with them because that's where you come from, and you have that background, or they know you, and it's like, yo, homie, let's go, get in the whip. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be, and sometimes dudes will offer you status and all of that. Like, yo, you want to be a low 020 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll give you the high 020 for this hood, bro. Come in. And you got to be disciplined enough to know, like, I'm doing my bid. You start to see what's important, bro, which is your family.
That's right.
And your real friends. Otherwise, you'll be trapped in that motherfucker forever. You know what I'm saying? Just for being dumb, thinking it's a game. So, nah, that doesn't happen. It's like, all right, cool. And once you stay out the politics, you good.
Okay.
That's it. You got to divide that, because you got a lot of neutrals who are fucking instigators. You know what I'm saying? They roll with whoever's the winning force, and they instigate shit. And they wind up getting touched for that. So as long as you mind your business, dudes ain't worried about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, he was that. That's cool, but you still gonna have, like I said, whenever I have been around bloods, for the most part, the bond is just there. You know what I'm saying? But it's other dudes I got cool with too, like I said, from different affiliations.
Okay. So,
you know, and another thing, like I said, a lot of dudes tell on themselves, so you do have gang intelligence. So when I went up north, I wasn't getting, only on the island was I getting harassed by SRG, which is gang intelligence.
Okay.
You know, they label you as a gang member and shit. But once I was up north, it's how you move. Like I said, I got blood tattoos on me, bro, and I still didn't have problems with gang intelligence up north. Because they observing, and they like, nah, this dude can't be blood. He's not active with that.
Right, got you. Okay. It's a good segue. So when you left Auburn, what was your next stop, and what was the reason for you leaving Auburn?
All right, so when I was in Auburn, I was telling you I was in the industry, so I caught a bad ticket in the industry because I wowed out on the supervisor in the plate shop.
Okay.
Like, dudes were supposed to try to do a strike, you know what I'm saying? Like a work strike. But that shit didn't work. I'm the fool that was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm beefing with the supervisor. And that shit didn't go good for me. You know what I'm saying? I got
it ain't go good.
Bad disciplinary ticket behind that shit, whatever. Lost the job, you know what I'm saying? All of that. And but anyway, you put transfers in to try to like get to a jail you want to get to.
Okay.
That's another thing. Like, let's say your brother's in a certain whatever jail. Like, I would never want to do time with my brother, bro. That shit would stress me out. You got relatives sometimes in the system. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, my brother was locked up too while I was locked up. And I found out, yo, my brother's in Sing Sing. I'm going to try my best to get the Sing Sing. I'm going to try my best, whatever way I could do it.
Right.
Like, damn, how could I get the Sing? What do I do? You know, what counselor could I talk to? What's the method? What programs might I have to take to get to that jail?
Right.
So anyway, I had to transfer in. You know what I'm saying? I had to transfer in. So from Auburn, I wound up going to Greenhaven. Yeah, after Auburn, I went to Greenhaven, but that was just on the transfer.
Okay.
And sometimes you stop in other jails too and shit. Like Auburn it also has a transit section. So it's dudes that's going to other jails, but they got to stop there first and stay there a few days and then get back on the bus and go to another jail.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to Greenhaven after that. And when you went Greenhaven, you closer to New York. So it's a different, like in Auburn, you ain't seeing no women like that, bro. You may see a counselor, but most of the guards is just like, you know, Caucasians from upstate and all of that type of stuff. But when you get to Greenhaven or Sing Sing, which is closer to New York, this way you start seeing the Black female COs, Latina female COs. You closer to home. So
right.
you want, if you into that type of thing, like, oh, you know, I want my family visiting me a lot and that type of stuff, then you're going to try to get closer to New York City or wherever it is your family is at.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I left Auburn on a transfer, and it's crazy. But right before I left Auburn, there was a young blood kid too. Not a, you know, by young I mean a kid that's like 20 at the time or something like this.
Right.
This is when I was on my way leaving out. This kid was going home from Auburn. Right when he was going home, a Crip pulled up. So when the Crip pulled up in the jail, bro, they was on him. Like, yo, we gonna shoot him. You know what I'm saying? We shooting him. They all on the gate with it. We gonna shoot him. The Crip was quiet with it. So this kid, like I say, he's like 20 or something at the time. He was going home, bro, going home. They locked, they popped the gates for child, you know, to go to the mess hall.
Right.
This is right when this kid is, he's about to be processed to go home. This dude, when we get out, like when we step out the cell, I actually didn't go to child. Because you got a choice in certain jails. Some jails, you got to go to child when they tell you or whatever. And some you can just stay in your cell, you know, cook or whatever. So this kid, he winds up getting out of cell to go to the mess hall. When the Crip came out, he cut him. Whoop. But he hit him with the can top because you get cans in jail too.
Oh.
Like canned goods.
Right.
And shit like that. So it depends too on what facility you in because they ban certain items.
Okay.
Like at one time they banned honey from the commissary in the jail I was in. It's different politics like that. But this blood kid got shot, bro. The Crip came out, whoop, hit him ASAP, which was fucked up. Damn. Caught him good too. So it didn't work out well for them. They just thinking we gonna mob on him. But he's thinking, soon as on the lockout, the first blood I see, I'm cutting him because he wasn't gonna stay in that jail. The dude is like, listen, I'm not gonna be able to live here. I'd rather go to the box.
Right.
But yeah, right. This kid was supposed to go home, winds up getting his face blown off. You know, he didn't die. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But yeah, but that's right when I was on my way going to Greenhaven. So anyway, I get to Greenhaven after that. Greenhaven Correctional Facility.
Okay. So what's going on? My bad. So what's going on at Greenhaven? Being that you say that it's closer to New York City, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The guards is Black and Latino. I'm assuming that there's a lot of drugs on that compound.
Oh yeah, there's always drugs and there's always corruption. So when I got to Greenhaven Correctional Facility, there's white guards too, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. And it's crazy because with the COs, they work a lot. They do double shifts. It's like they doing time, to be honest with you.
Okay, right.
But they willing, I don't want to try to judge them in a negative way, but a lot of them is just willing to sell their souls for those government benefits. You know what I'm saying? So they get tied up in that. A lot of corruption happens and they deal with each other a lot. So you'll see a lot of the Black sisters, Latina sisters that are COs getting dug out by these Caucasian redneck COs.
Right. Okay.
Or if not, they'll start to like certain convicts. You know what I'm saying? Because you the closest thing that represents the type of men that they're attracted to.
Right.
So in Greenhaven, like I said, it's different in that aspect. So you're gonna be around a lot of women. So when I got to Greenhaven, it's very similar in terms of the gang politics, the drugs. But I would say there was a higher level of it because it's close to New York, and COs is about getting money too. So when you in a spot like there or Sing Sing close to New York, it's very hard for a CO to not, this is my perspective on it. Like, all right, cigarettes, you can smoke cigarettes up north. You allowed to. On Rikers Island, you can't. So on Rikers Island, you'll see, like I caught a smuggling charge on Rikers Island, for example, just dealing with tobacco and shit, selling pouches and all of that type of stuff. But it's tempting for the COs because it's so expensive. So if a person wants a bottle of liquor, they might want some cheap shit, like some Amsterdam or some shit. Like, yo, I want some vodka.
Right.
CO gonna charge high price for that. So they were smuggling shit in there. So Greenhaven, while I was there, they was under a bad investigation. I was there for like 4 years, I believe. A lot of shit was happening there. So yeah, definitely. I wound up, I got a good gig though when I was in Greenhaven. I knew a dude that was on my company. He worked in the medical unit, like they got a hospital there. So that's a so-called good job to have because you could do your time. You get a lot, different perks basically.
Okay.
So one of my homeboys, he's from Brooklyn too, whatever, he plugged me in. But when you get plugged in up there, it's the head of that unit, the hospital, it was a dude named Beachy. He was like the head of the COs union because they got a union too, the COs.
Okay.
So, yeah, so if you want to work in a hospital there at that time, the dude Beachy got to approve you. You can't go to the program committee like, yo, I want to work in the hospital. Give me the job. Okay. They don't care about none of that paperwork shit. The dude Beachy is going to decide who's going to work there.
Okay.
So, and there's a reason that he does that because you around a lot of women, bro. They got, hospital rooms. We got TVs in there. So the dudes who work in there, we'll take a hospital room and make that shit into our own like little chill spot. TV right. In there, you know what I'm saying? Cooking good, bro. You got stoves. You got all type of perks. And then you got nurses. So you kicking it with the nurses and shit. You doing all of that. So they want to make sure there's no sex offenders there because you can't, like, the way Beachy was running this shit is he don't want no sex offenders working in the hospital because you around women.
Okay.
But it's so funny because my homeboy who plugged me in the job, he got fired. He was there for a minute. He was working there for years before I got there, but he was fucking with the head nurse, literally. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got there, he's flexing. So like when he first got me in the hospital to work there, I'm seeing him chilling like in the main room. He got the main nurse sitting on his lap.
Damn.
So he don't want everybody to know that, but he took a liking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason I got you here, homie, is because I like how you move. I got some trust in you.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, these are the finer things in life, in prison, so to speak. But he wound up getting caught, you know what I'm saying? Because certain dudes run their fucking mouth, bro. Like you have certain inside the jail, they'll be like, yeah, this is my bitch. You got certain dudes lying. She's feeling me, bro. This is my broad. And you're going to know when a CO female is feeling you and everybody else knows it because they could just see how you act around each other.
Okay.
So he wound up losing that job and all of that, going to the box because Beachy had told him like, yo, I know that you got something going on with the head nurse, bro. And he's like, I'm all I'm gonna tell you, man, is just watch how you move. This is what the head CO dude is telling him.
Right.
Like, I know what's going on. He's like, but the shit comes back to me because people was talking. He's like, I don't want to do nothing, bro. I don't want to put you through no disciplinary process. But my homeboy didn't jack it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He continued to still move like that, and he wound up going to the box behind that situation. So, yeah, so with Greenhaven, you got a lot of that. It's the same type of typical setup as far as, like I said, the different tables, you know, with the different organizations in the yard. But in Greenhaven, which is crazy, always a shooting, bro. There's almost not like literally, bro, a day I was in that yard that bloods weren't shooting each other, bro. Literally.
Every day?
Literally, bro. Yeah, so it's like, and in that, like in Auburn is heavier as far as like the security thing, where you know how you got mags, like a magnometer.
Right.
In a jail like Auburn, oftentimes you're gonna get put through the mag. Like when you go into the yard, they don't put everybody through the mag, but they'll just pick you out. Like, yo, you go through the mag. Right? So in a jail like Auburn, dudes have shit like stakes. Like they'll make shit in the wood shop. Stakes ain't gonna go. A stake, you know what? You making a gun out of wood.
Okay, got you.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
But in Greenhaven, they not just like so heavy on that type of shit. So, yeah, bro. So when you going out to the yard, it's like there's a lot of shootings, bro. A lot. And 9 out of 10 times, like I said, just in my experience, when I was there for those 4 years or so, was down moves. And crazy because dudes will get shot and just they'll shit, they won't blow it up. But then you got some dudes who blow it up. You'll see dudes like that, like they trying to put some shit on their face, like, yo, bro, my cut bad. And they'll just chill until the early go back.
Oh.
When I was in Auburn, you just reminded me of something, bro. There was a dude that got killed when I was in Auburn. Which was fucked up because this dude was another dude that was supposed to go home. And he did this shit like, you got dudes in jail that's gate monsters. Remember I told you that everything is mental?
Yeah.
So they talk good. And some dudes are fall for that shit. A dude, you know how dudes sell wolf tickets, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So one thing that dudes like that tend to do is be like, get your gun. They like saying that dumb shit.
Okay.
Like, yeah, yo, son, go get your gun. A lot of times they selling wolf tickets. So this dude, like I've seen dudes signing the PC when I was in Auburn by getting scared of the dudes that was selling wolf tickets.
Okay.
So dude be like, oh shit, he told me to get my gun. Oh shit, it's about to go down. Getting stabbed ain't a joke. Getting cut, you know? But getting stabbed, you could die. You know what I'm saying? The human vessel was not built for that type of shit. It's not a movie. So anyway, there was this cat in Auburn, and that type of situation happened. Oh, yo, get your gun, see me in the bathroom type shit.
Right,
so
right.
The dude who was going home, he was on that type of time. Yo, get your gun. Whatever. The other dude is on the same type of time. They went in the bathroom. They had their little knife fight. The dude that was going home, he got stabbed. It was a wrap. Shit is not a movie. A dude thinks like, oh, I'm going to get stabbed and I'm going to keep going. Nah. I don't know. When I've seen dudes get stabbed, and with the exception, like in 5 Points, I seen a dude get stabbed in the leg on my gallery, which was kind of funny to me at the time in a way, because the dude just walked past him and stabbed him in the leg and kept it moving.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so that shit was crazy. But in Auburn with this dude, man, he got stabbed. That was it. So sometimes, like I said, a dude to go back to his cell and just lay there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Lay there and die. Then you got some dudes that'll go to the bubble, to the CO, like, yo, I'm cut. But you got dudes that won't do that. They like, fuck it. Let me just take it back to my cell. So this dude died, bro. They had the shit taped off, like the yellow tape in the yard for a little minute. and he was going home, but he winds up getting killed. You know what I'm saying? All for that pride.
Okay, dang. Okay, so that's crazy. So you pull up at Greenhaven. I'm trying to, on this channel right here, I'll be trying to get all of the different organizations. I'll be trying to put together what's going on. So the Crip situation, when you was at Greenhaven, now how are the Crips living at Greenhaven? Is it the same thing? They can't
when I was in, the only time I saw Crips when I was in Greenhaven was when I had to do my programming, because you got to do 6 months of anger management and shit like that. So you got to do those programs, and then when you come home, they make you do the shit again. It's crazy.
Okay.
So there's a unit for when you're doing the drug program shit. They make you do a drug program. So that's for anybody.
Anybody, yep.
Some dudes get around it though, like, the fuck out of here. I don't got a drug case, and they try to wiggle out of it, but oftentimes they're not gonna let you wiggle out of that. They're gonna be like, yo, you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so there's a unit for that. So when I went to that unit, I see like 3-4 Crips living there. There was Bloods living there too. So I'm like, oh shit, these Crips is living in this unit. But suffice to say, like I told you, certain dom moves will pull up, which in that instance, that's what happened. And they like, fuck out of here. These hardbacks ain't living in here. And that's it. Those particular group of Crips that was in Greenhaven when I was there, out of the 4, it was like 4 or 5 of them maybe. I say one of them they left behind. They left them alone. But the rest of his homies, they mashed them. The Bloods. They mashed on them. Like, nah. You know, so sometimes the Bloods can have an understanding with them like that. Like, yo, bro, you could live in this jail. But if a certain big homie comes in there and he's like, nah, they not living amongst us. That's what happened. So you had the Dom moves. You had Black Lions there too.
Oh, yeah, Black Lions there too? Okay.
Yeah, the Black Lions. Yeah. Shout out to my brother Ninja. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the Black Lions over there. He was there with me. And then I seen him when I went down to a medium right before I was going home. Yeah, so they got Black Lions there. They got Threebles there. They got all of that you could think about. They even got some Italian, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a couple here and there.
So listen,
and shit. Yeah.
How many more prisons did you go to? Just give me a count. How many more institutions did you go to after Greenhaven?
Greenhaven holds you hostage, bro. Let me tell you that. So I was trying my best to get out of Greenhaven, bro.
Right.
After a while, I'm like, because when you there for so long, it's like, but Greenhaven will hold you hostage. So they would never let me out of Greenhaven when I was trying to transfer out.
Right.
And I was due to go home. I'm like, yo, what's up? Remember too, there's classifications in jail. That's another thing, bro.
Right.
Even on Rikers Island. So some stories certain dudes might tell you that may sound outlandish to another dude might be true, because like on Rikers Island, there's different security classifications. So if a dude has a lot of violence and shit on his jacket in the jail, he'll go to a housing unit that I might not be able to go to. There's different levels. So anyway, when you reach a certain classification, you're supposed to go to a medium. Like you see how dudes who get sentenced to 5 years, you go into a medium. You're not going to a maximum unless you left from a maximum in your last bit.
Okay.
So I was supposed to have been in a medium when I was in Auburn. When I was in Greenhaven. I was supposed to have been in a medium, but they hold you hostage. So that was the last spot I was at as far as maxes. And then from there, finally, when I had like 2 years to go home, they sent me to Otisville, which is a medium.
We're going to save for part 3. What I want to end this one on, we're doing a part 3 tomorrow or the next day you're available. I'm going to save Otis. That's crazy you just said Otisville. I'll talk about that later. Save Otisville, but what I want to end with is you work for the courts, right?
Yeah.
Explain to the people your job with the courts and how you landed that job and everything and how that came about.
All right, boom. So when you in jail, different jails have different politics. Auburn is also good in that there's a lot of programming, like shit that could there's a lot there's a lot of shit you could get into that's positive at the same time, right?
Good, that's good.
Some jails don't, like college, for example. When Bill Clinton was the president, he abolished that free college shit.
I heard it. Yep.
Everybody was mad because you like dudes from that era, a lot of cats from that era in jail is walking around with master's degrees in the jail. But after the Clinton administration, that stopped.
And everything, man. He took the Pell Grant away too. But go ahead.
There you go. Yep. So at that time, Greenhaven was one of the jails that started to have a college program in it, which is Cornell University. So Cornell University had a little college thing going on there. So I was a part of that when I was in Greenhaven.
Okay.
Right? So was who was there with me? Mel Cross. Mel Cross was there with me because he was in the core group. The core group was like the dudes who scored the highest, to get into the college for the associate's program and shit.
Okay.
So by doing that, when you start programming and shit, there's a lot of certifications you could get. So I started getting different types of all types of different certifications, bro, all type of shit. So with that being said, as far as the educational aspect of prison, I was able to get a lot of credentials, in social work, a lot of credentials in social work.
Okay.
Like motivational, not motivational speaking, but motivational interviewing, shit, all type of different shit. You do public speaking, all of that. So when I got home, when you have a flat bid, we got what's called post-release supervision, which is fucked up. So it's still like they make you be on parole. So you got to do at least 3 years of that. It's really 5 years typically, but if you pass at least 3 years, they'll let you off a supervision. So when I first touched down, I was working through apps. Like we in the new age. Like you got dudes who do Uber, working through apps. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that type of shit using pseudonyms, fake names. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So that's what I was doing because it was better for me. I was making more money doing that when I first touched down. My first PO was mad cool. My first PO. She was working with me basically, like she wanted to see me doing good.
Okay.
So the last thing, even though I left jail with all of these credentials, I really didn't want to go into social work. I really I'm licensed in social work. I got licensed in social work in jail. I didn't want to do that shit coming home because a lot of that shit you want to leave behind you.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do it. I stay in contact with my homeboys that's locked up and all of that, but I didn't want to be in that type of field of work. But so my second PO was one of those old school dickheads. Like, she's looking over my file. She's like, "Oh, how did your last PO let you work through apps and all that?" I'm like, I still got pay stuff. They digital and all of that. They electronic, but what's the problem?
What is that?
Say that again.
You say you was working through a company called Apps. What's that again?
Nah. I'm saying apps, like phone apps, for example. Like if you work for Uber, you know what I'm saying? If you work for Uber, there's all type of stuff out there. So you just clocking in through an app. You know, so you're not working it in a typical way. So I had a gig like that. So that was good for me. It was perfect for me. So, and mind you, I'm still programming, bro. When I come, you have to program when you come home again.
Okay.
Right? So my second PO, she started enforcing all of that shit. She's like, "Listen, you're gonna complete the ART, the anger management shit. You gotta complete it again. You gotta complete the drug programming again. But in order to complete that, bro, you can't work a regular 9 to 5 because you don't have the time. You got to do that shit for 6 months. And you need money when you're in the streets. So this shit is real. And a lot of dudes will tell you when they come home, it ain't sweet, bro. Dudes will call your PO on you, bro. Your family will do something. Shit's crazy. So it's like you set up for failure. So this PO, the second PO, that's how she was on it. She's like, nope. And 2, you got to complete your programming. So you're going to do what I'm telling you to do. This is how it's going then. So I'm like, oh shit. So I completed my programming, but in doing my programming, I had to go hard to get a part-time job. I had to, because I couldn't work full-time once my second PO was enforcing the program. So that's what, fortunately, like I said, I already had credentials in social work. So I went straight to that because it was the easiest thing for me. You can't go to them like, yo, I work in this tire shop over here off the books. They not jacking that shit.
Right.
Unless you got a cool PO. They want to see pay stubs, this and that. So so I started with doing that. Basically, when I started off with the part-time, I was working for HRA. That's Human Resource Administration.
Okay.
So what they had me doing was just helping people who, like young people who were like, I guess, kind of caught up in the system, not necessarily jail, but just caught up in the system, you know, trying to find housing, trying to find work and these type of things. So I would coach them. That's what my job was. Coaching them, giving lectures, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So in order for me to do that, it was easy because, like I said, I already had credentials in it. If I didn't, bro, I would have had a hard time. Like, oh, I can't find a fucking job. Nobody's going to hire me because I got a B felony.
Right.
And they take that shit serious, bro. There's a stigma behind that shit. People is really busted. And even when you're working in social work, you're going to have certain people that, but to answer your question, my fault, I kind of digressed a little bit. From that job, once I finished my programming, I wound up going, you know, heavy on Indeed, you know, when you put your applications out. So I already knew that to get a job, it's basically based on ratios. Like the universe is mathematical. So I knew that if I want to land a good job, I got to keep throwing applications, putting in applications. And that was it. I got the job with the courts quick. So how I got the job with the courts was I had applied for just all types of different positions as a social worker. So what they hired me to do is what's called being a peer specialist / liaison in the courts. So what you do is that you're a middleman between the judge, right, or the prosecution rather. You're the middleman between the prosecution and the lawyer and the lawyer's client, which would be the defendant. So what you're trying to help the defendant to do is to get an alternative to incarceration. That's basically what the job involves. So you got to be inside of the courtroom. You got to be like, hey, Your Honor, this and it shit is funny. You know what I'm saying? But life is just funny like that, right? But the point is that for me, like you got certain dudes who fake it and they make it happen. But in that world, the justice system, you know, the justice system, surprisingly, like when I've sat down with judges, because with the type of job I'm talking about, you got to sit. The judges have meetings in the chambers. Like they want to pick your brain, bro. They want to know, like, they look at it like you got expertise in the streets at the same time.
Got you.
Like, yo, he got a street background. He understands this shit. So alternatives to incarceration is that instead of dudes getting sentenced to time, they try to put them in some type of a program or some shit. You know, community service. So that's all you doing. You're the middleman. But that's money-based too, just so you know. It's money-based because once the defendant decides, listen, instead of me doing time, I'm going to take this alternative to incarceration and I'm going to program instead and do this community service. What happens with that is they have the programs I'm talking about in the streets, like drug programs or whatever other type of programs. They charge your fucking Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So like me, I'm a licensed peer specialist. So I could actually charge a person's Medicaid independently myself. I could do that. Like, yo, listen, I'm gonna take you on as a client. I'm gonna charge your Medicaid, your health insurance, in other words.
Right.
Counsel you. So it's a money thing. It's still a fucking money thing behind it. Okay. You know? So that basically that's what that job entails, brother. Working in the courts. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question before we close part 2. Is this something that you have a passion for, or is it just something you're doing?
I always had a passion for helping cats. But the thing is this, I have more of an entrepreneurial spirit.
Got you.
Like as I'm talking to you, I got my own 3-bedroom, my own shit. Not from the government, bro. They don't help you. Like I have people in my family like, yo, they're gonna give you a place to live. Nah, hell no. They're gonna give you this, they're gonna give you that. Nah, I had to get it out the mud, to be honest with you. And my little brother, well, one of my brothers, he helped me a lot too. I'm gonna keep it real. But so I have more of an entrepreneurial spirit. I do like what you would call social work, but not as a case manager, because there ain't no money in that shit. So even when I was working in the courts, bro, you got people that say they want to help. Like, yeah, I want to help the underprivileged. I want to help Black people.
Right.
And these motherfuckers be phony, bro. So when I was there, they like, yo, how this kid got a BMW? They was hating on me, bro. They start figuring it out too. Like, yo, he's in jail. How he owns his own BMW. How could he afford this diamond jewelry? Literally, bro, because you know work gossip.
Right.
So I had to hold my head to be able to do. They start looking up your parole officer. Swear to God, bro.
Damn.
Try to call your parole officer. Like, I think he's selling drugs. This type of shit happens. So I do enjoy helping people for sure. But like I said, I'm more of an entrepreneur. So ever since I've been working in the courts, they started seeing that like, damn, he's not a doja. Like he's not moving like, yes, sir. But I'm like, listen, I'm right now I'm 35. A lot of these cats working in the courts, they in debt, bro. They got all type of student loans, so they mad at me. Especially when they find out like, oh, you was in jail, you got free education.
Right. That's crazy, man.
They in all type of debt. So they like, how do you afford what you have on the salary that we have? None of your business how I could afford it.
Right.
But the reason is I'm always a hustler in a positive sense. So they have no idea, they have no idea of all of those aspects. But so yeah, I do like helping people. But like I said, in that capacity, when you on papers, you mandated to do what these people tell you to do, or you go back to jail. So when you get serious about it, that like I got plenty homies who threw bricks. My little brother tells me all the time. He'd be like, yo, bro, you one of the only cats I know. Cause my little brother got jail homeboys too. He's like, yo, bro, you one of the only cats I know came out of jail, bro. You got a good ass job. You doing your thing. Cause these dudes is going back to prison.
Yep, that's right. Prison, man, and they come. I see a lot of dudes come home, man. I'm being honest. I know dudes that came home. I'm gonna close on this. I know dudes that came home that have been offered a lot of programs, bro, and they still had that criminal mindset. Man, forget these people. What these people tell them. But you was doing what they told you to do for the last 15 years. It's in the mindset when they talk to me, like I did an event. I got a photo booth company I own. I did an event, man, for people, for a group of people. And the dude that just came home from doing 22 years. The lady has sent him to go wait in line for some ribs. He was finna benefit. He was about to eat the ribs. He's like, man, man, messed up, dog. And listen, he's with this program he's in. They helping him. They giving him room and board. So you gotta work. They got me. No, I ain't finna go to that crap, and I ain't finna wait in line for nobody. He looking at me talking like I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro, I'm all with you. But I act like I didn't hear him. I went right into the double doors like I didn't even hear him, man. I do not like that mindset. I know a lot of dudes that come home with no programs, but I know some dudes that come home with programs. I know this for a fact. And they mess up. I got a cousin that did 17 years in the Florida Department of Corrections, came home, got on his grind, owns his own company, build houses, and now he's in charge. The city I'm living in, he's in charge of that, where when other dudes come home from prison, he trained them how to do stucco, electrical, plumbing, AC, that, man. But I know it's not like that for everybody. And on that note, we're going to close part 2. I don't know if you want to go over your brand now or you want to wait to part 3. But before that, it's Easy Win Florida Prison Talk. Go check out my man's YouTube page. It's going to be all over here. It's called I Light Network. He got more subscribers than me. So I'm interviewing him. He got more subscribers, and I learned a lot from bro right here just talking. He's taught me a lot about YouTube, a lot about the algorithms. I learned so much from you, bro. You got anything to say before we close part 2?
Yeah, just again, shout out to the subscribers, shout out to the other brothers, you know, that's doing the same type of thing you doing. 1090 Jake, all them dudes, the brother Nate that you had on. The brothers that's focused, bro, being smart. Cause it's like the shit you see on 1090 Jake's channel, even though it is dealing with jail, you seeing dudes getting killed every day, bro. This shit is fucking crazy. Dudes getting killed every day. So we live in these type of times. So a shout out to all of those brothers who are doing that, who are not clout chasing, they not falling into that dumb shit. That's, you know what I'm saying? Beefing with each other online and just throwing their whole lives away. You know what I'm saying? So much success to y'all brothers, and keep doing y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing y'all thing. There's always a lesson in all of this. So just shout out to y'all and all the subscribers.
All right, Easy Win, Florida Prison Talk. My boy Majesty, I Light Network. We out of here.
All right, peace.